when I first heard about the company, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was homeschooling my 2 older kids, and my youngest, Elijah, who's autistic, was in diapers. And I was just kind of looking around for something that I could do part-time in my spare time, because we were looking for, honestly, I was looking for extra money so I could get my nails done, or money that we could start chipping away at some of the bills that we had, because Chad was an active duty Army officer. And you would think that with the Army, that what these guys and gals do, that they get paid quite a bit. But the reality is that we were living paycheck to paycheck. And to be totally honest, we weren't necessarily good with our money either. We would spend it as fast as we could get it. So anyway, along came It Works. And that's kind of a funny story in itself, because I literally was done with network marketing. It was so funny because Chad was in multiple companies, and he would spend all this time in these other companies, and then we really wouldn't make any money from it. And so I was like, look, dude, we don't see you anyway, because you're in the Army. You come home, you leave before the sun comes up, and you get home after the sun's gone again. And so it was just like, no, we cannot do this and divide our time away. So when I found It Works, it was crazy, because I literally called Chad, and I started sending him before and after pictures, because the wrap, that was our hot sizzle product at the time. And so I was sending those pictures, before and after pictures, to Chad. And he was like, what in the heck is my wife getting into? And I was like, hey, I want to try these products. And guess what? If they work, there's a business opportunity attached to it. And he was like, what? So I tried the wrap as a total skeptic, had amazing results, and signed up on the spot and became a distributor. And I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, all my friends are going to want to try this. And so I just started talking to everyone that I could think of, friends. And now, mind you, we had just been stationed at Fort Campbell at that time. We had no network of friends. We didn't even have a church yet that we were going to. But I was excited, and I went to the grocery store a lot, because that's where I spent most of my free time as a stay-at-home mom when I could get away. And so I would just kind of talk really loud as I was standing in line, and just look at my before and after pictures and say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what this wrap did to my body. And people who are naturally nosy would, you just feel their eyes on you. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, you got to see, look what this wrap did to my stomach. And I would just show my before and after pictures, and they'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, how long did you wear that thing? And I would just strike up conversations and be like, you come to my house. I literally live 5 minutes away, and I can wrap you sometime. And I would set up appointments and bring random girls home and wrap them over lunchtime when my youngest was sleeping. And then, of course, Chad, he helped me out by talking to the guys there, and he would just say, hey, who do you know that would want to see results like this? And he'd show my before and after picture for $25. And, most of the guys are like, hey, me, they'll grab their stomachs. And so we were wrapping soldiers in the mornings, wrapping girls in the afternoon. It was just crazy. And it just really took off. And we never thought that it would turn into what it did. And so we actually were able to go diamond in our second month, emerald the first month, diamond in the second month. And it was so life-changing, because you're talking about a couple $1,000s extra a month. And I started for a few extra $100 a month. And so quickly we started to realize that there was really something to this business. And Chad found out that he was going to be getting deployed. You want to share that?
Sure.
part?
So I think this was back in 2012 when we first, we joined at the end of July in 2012. And I found out just a couple months after we joined the business that I had to deploy at the end of October. So I ended up deploying at the end of October to Afghanistan. I was a field artillery officer, and Jeree, didn't have me at home anymore. And she just didn't feel like, she was sad that I was gone. She didn't feel like building the business anymore. So that entire month of November, she really didn't do anything, but was amazed when we still earned, we earned 2,000 again. And that's one of the beautiful things about this business, is that you're able to build something that will continue on even after you stop doing the work. It's why we have, it's residual income. So when you have someone who loves the products and you sign them up with the products that first time, and they keep ordering them month after month after month, you continue to earn 15% commissions off your personal customers, and then 2 to 10% off of your team's customers, depending on where they are in the organization. So you're able to build a significant income over time. And so she was really excited about that. I was excited about that. So that's November, and then December was kind of the same thing. I'm doing operations and different things in Afghanistan, and then our youngest, who was 2 at the time, he got really sick. He had croup, and so he was on breathing treatments and stuff like that mid-December. And then you want to kind of share what happened then?
Yeah, and then the following weekend after the whole croup scare, we took an ambulance ride to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital because it had gotten some advanced stages, and it was weird. And then like late at night, he was really struggling to breathe when I went in and checked on him. Well, exactly 1 week later, the Lord told me to go in and check on him at like 11 o'clock at night. And so I walked in to check on him. And when I did, I could smell blood. Like literally he started bleeding internally, and there was literally blood all over his crib, all over him, pooling outside of his diaper. Like it was horrible. And honestly, in that moment, I did not even know what had happened to him. Like every scenario ran through my mind. I didn't know if somebody had broken in and stabbed him. You know, it looked like a murder scene. And so I just remember I was able to pick his little body up, which was pretty much lifeless. And when I opened his diaper, blood pooled out of both sides. So he was bleeding from his rectum. And I called 911. And of course I couldn't call Chad because he was in Afghanistan. So I had no way of getting a hold of him. My only choice was to get a hold of the Red Cross. And so we took our ambulance ride. They hooked him up to a blood transfusion immediately. And we were informed that he needed an emergency life-saving surgery. But they were he had to have the surgery to save his life, but because of the croup and because of how bad his lungs were, they wouldn't do the surgery if they didn't have to. Let's just put it that way, because they were really concerned that he was going to have to be on a respirator, a ventilator for several weeks after that if they did the surgery. So they went forward with the surgery. You know, they ended up doing what they needed to do to save his life. He had an extra piece of tissue that he was born with in his stomach that started bleeding randomly and in the middle of the night, and that's where the blood came from and the internal bleeding. And so thank God that he had the life-saving surgery that he needed, and we finally were able to get in contact with Chad, and he was able to start the process of coming back home. But I just remember once the dust settled with that, just thinking, okay, do I ever want to feel like this again? Like I felt so helpless anyway, because like I said, still in a brand new town where I really didn't know anybody. The night that the ambulance came, I had to drop my kids off with a neighbor I didn't know. I knew her husband was Special Forces, so I thought Special Forces guys get extensive background checks, so I know I'm not leaving my kids with a creep. And I, left my 2 older kids because they wouldn't let them ride in the ambulance with me. So that helpless feeling, I just decided, like, am I going to always let the Army dictate situations like this in my life? Is it always going to be situational? And I just decided that It Works was going to be the way for us to be able to get that freedom that we wanted. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved being an Army wife. Chad loved being in the Army. He served for 11 years. He was enlisted first and then became an officer. But at the end of the day, he was married to the Army. Like the kids and I came not even second, honestly. And so we were just ready. Like after that, it was like eye-opening. When you almost lose a child and it's something that catastrophic, it just changes your perspective. So that became our why. We decided that we were going to work our butts off and see what we could do with It Works. And so we went to our first conference, and that's in January. So Elijah had the internal bleeding in December. Chad came home Christmas Eve. And then January 16th conference. And so Elijah was healed up, ready to go. So we went to our first conference, and it was crazy because we went there not really knowing what we were going to do with It Works, not knowing if we could do anything with, like, if we could be highly successful. We knew we could be a little successful because we were making a couple $1,000s, but we just didn't know. But when we got there, and we were able to be around other people that were just like us, I'm shy. I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but I'm super, super shy. And if you ever try to get me on like a phone call or a Zoom like this, I would freak out. I was okay talking to people one-on-one, but in any kind of a group setting, it would totally, like, I would literally go into the fetal position and want to die. I have high anxiety, and still, I've just learned to control that over my many years of personal development with this company. But when I was there and I saw other women that were standing on stage, and you could tell they were terrified to be up there, and they were shaking so much that the microphone was shaking in their hands. I was just like, whoa, if she can do this, I can do this, because she's top like 100 money earners. Like, that's crazy. She's scared. She's shy. She's not polished. Like, I can do that. And so that's why events are so, so important for you guys to get to, being brand new, because you can go and you find people that look like you, that talk like you, that are the same age as you, that have maybe the same occupation as you do, or the same history. I know now that I've been in the company for a while, I just know that God has used It Works to give me a platform to share some of my broken past, because my broken past inspires other women that have been hurt like I was. You know, I'm a high school dropout. I dropped out of high school my junior year. I have a learning disability. I have a hard time reading and comprehending things. And I was sexually abused when I was a kid. I turned to drugs and alcohol to medicate my past. My parents were divorced. They split. I had daddy issues and mommy issues. And I dated the wrong kinds of guys that were hyper abusive to me. And I just, for a large part of my life, felt trapped in my own prison. And I never thought that I was going to amount to anything or be worthy of anything like this. So what I love about this company is that they don't discriminate who is leadership. If you work hard and you have grit and you are passionate, then you can be successful. And if what I love is that I get to be a voice of hope to other people, that they can see that it doesn't matter what kind of an education you have, what kind of a background you have. My gosh, if that were the case, I was arrested multiple times before I even turned 18. You know, I just love that they've embraced us. Not only have they embraced us, but they put us on stage to share a testimony. And, you know, Mark and Cindy are so proud of us. So anyway, that's kind of our story in a nutshell. We went diamond, like I said, first 2 months, and then in 8 months, so 100 days out of that first conference, we went presidential. So we went from making a couple $1,000s a month to over $40,000 a month. That's crazy. Like, that should make your eyeballs pop open. I'm telling you, if you work hard for 190 days, 90 to 100 days out of conference, you work hard, and you know, say no to some of the good things, like watching Netflix and binging out. Like, you say no to the good for the great. For a 90-day period, oh my gosh, you guys can totally, completely change your life like we did. So 8 months in, went presidential diamond. 6 months after that, Chad was able to get out of the Army. And 6 months later, so a year from the time I went presidential, we went ambassador diamond. And never looked back. We've always just been our flag planted here with It Works. We love, love, love the products. We love our CEO and his wife. We are rooted, firmly planted, because we know that God has us here for a purpose. And we're so excited for each and every one of you. That is a huge deal to get 400 GV. Like, that's not something that we take lightly. That's a really, really huge deal. And you should be very, very proud of yourselves. And so anyway, I hear kids knocking, so I'm going to let Chad take over the rest of this. But you guys, I'm so proud of you. And it was an honor to chat with you guys. So bye.
Awesome, guys. So we're just excited to have you here, and I'm going to open up in a little bit, and I'd love to just do some Q&A and answer some questions and things. But what I can tell you, and the reason why we share our story and our why, is because we hit that point in life where we were like, I was pretty much mentally retired from the military, and then It Works was already in our life. We went to a conference, we saw what was possible, and we just made one quality decision that we were just going to do it. You know, we decided we're not going to care what friends and family think or say. You can imagine when I walked away, because it took me, you know, when I was a staff sergeant in the Army, I had to finish my college degree. I had to get selected. I had to go through officer candidate school to get commissioned. I had to do all the background checks, security clearance, all these things. And I have just as colorful of a past as Jeree too. So I had to overcome so many obstacles just to arrive at being an officer. So most of the people in our life that knew us and loved us kind of took me to the side when we started talking about me leaving my secure career in the military, where all I had to do was continue to show up, right? And I would have been at six figures and beyond just by showing up, to leave all that behind to do this risky entrepreneurial business thing. They have all the thoughts. What happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? They were worried for us, right? Took them years to finally come around and go, you know what? You guys made the right choice. Because, now $2.3, I think, $million later in just a little over 6 years in commissions. And we've been able to literally design our life. We have a life of complete and total time freedom and financial freedom, live in our dream home. We homeschool our kids, and we get to design our schedule and vacation when we want to. And it's an amazing thing, not only reserved for Dree and I, but it's available to any of you. Okay. So let me go into kind of the goal setting piece, because you don't really need to understand the how yet. Okay. What you need to understand is what's possible and what piece of the pie that you want and why you want it. It's not so much what you want. Everybody and their mom wants more money, right? I don't think anybody would, if I was going to offer any of you $300,000 in 2019, I don't think any of you would turn it down. But you have to develop and establish what that kind of income, and maybe it's not that much for you. Maybe I'm blowing your mind and you're like, hey, $1,000 extra a month would be a game changer, because that's going to allow you to go on a family vacation. Maybe you haven't had a family vacation in a long time, and that would be a game changer. That's easy. Okay. $1,000 a month in this company, 10, 15,000 in 2019 is going to be easy. But what I'm here to share with you today and to get you thinking about is that literally anything is possible in this company that you want to go for. And it doesn't matter your background, right? I think Dree and I established that. You don't have to have graduated college, or it took me 15 years to get my 4-year college degree, right? You don't have to have graduated high school. You don't have to have any background success in life at all. All you need to have is a strong desire to win, and know that you know what you want and why you want it. And when that becomes solid, when you know what you want and why you want it, that's solid, the rest becomes simple. The how of this business is easy. And what I mean by easy is anybody can do it. We're not talking about all of you going and winning American Idol, right? Some of you probably couldn't do that, right? Or go slam dunk a basketball. Some of you guys, including me, can't do that. We're not talking about going and running a Ironman triathlon, right? Some of us possibly would have a heart attack if we tried, right? But with It Works, anybody, all of you, including me and Dree, we can go out and we can build a very successful business. So we always talk about, and this is always such a great time of year, because as we grow up, we're taught, beginning of year, fresh year, anything's possible, clean slate. That's why we have New Year's resolutions. The reality, though, is that 80+% of people that set a New Year's resolution, within 6 weeks, they've given up on it already, right? So maybe you have 1,000 people who want to lose 20 pounds, and about 15 of them do. The other 85 give up. So what's the difference between the 15 and the 85? Well, the 15 are very, very serious, and they have strong reasons why it's important to them. Maybe their mother had a heart attack, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, if I don't lose weight, I'm going to have a heart attack. So they're driven to lose weight. I read a story recently. There's a guy, he was like 580 pounds, and he tried every diet under the sun for 15 years. And sometimes he would lose like 40 or 50 pounds, but then he would give up on that diet. He would gain it all back, and then he would be frustrated, try the next thing, gain it all back. So 15 years into this deal, he's like, I've tried it all. Nothing works. Maybe it's just genetics. Maybe it's just me. Well, one day he takes his family out to dinner, and his 12-year-old girl stepping up from dinner falls over and passes out. And so they take her to the hospital, and they get to the hospital, and they're like, find out what's wrong from the doctor. And the doctor says, your daughter's okay. That's the good news. She's okay right now. But her kidneys is failing, and she's going to need a kidney transplant right away. And of course the father's like, use mine, right? I will gladly give you my kidney right now. And the doctor does the test and everything, and they say, we can't because it would be too dangerous because of your size, and we just can't do it. And the father, out of desperation, says, how much weight do I have to lose, and how fast do I have to lose it? And the doctor said, man, you have to lose 250 pounds in the next 5 months. Well, see, you and all of us, we know the end of the story. We know that father who was willing to do anything for his daughter got on it. And can you imagine the exercise he started to do the next day, how he began to treat his body and how he began to eat, and the focus and the commitment and everything. And he got rid of that 250 pounds in less than 5 months, was able to donate the kidney to his daughter and save her life. So what I'm trying to help you all understand, and I'll just give you one more scenario. Let's say I take your, now this only works if you love the person, right? So I'm going to assume you love your spouse, right? And you love your kids, right? So let's assume that you get home and there's a note at home and it says, hey, your kids are gone. And until you hit diamond with It Works, or until you make a $2,000 paycheck with It Works, you're not going to see your family again. And we're going to give you 3 months to do it before you don't have a chance to ever see them again. I would bet on I don't even know most of you yet, but I would bet on I'd bet $50,000 on every single one of you that within the next 90 days, every single person on this Zoom would hit at least diamond and be making at least a couple $1,000s a month. And the reason I know that is because I know when someone's why is strong enough, they become unstoppable and their success becomes inevitable. Okay, so that's why I like to establish this up front. The level of your success is going to be in direct correlation with the level of your reasons to be successful and the why that you have. That's why we do dream boards. So just want to show you. So here's some of ours for 2019. Show you a couple on here. So, and this is just a poster board, and all it does is we hang it up and it reminds us of things that are important to us. So you see right there the hashtag Black Diamond. That basically means you make $100,000 a month for 6 months straight, and it works. You get the title Black Diamond. We've had 3 people, I think, in the company do that so far. And Jeree and I, in 2018, we're top 20 earners, and our goal is to be Black Diamond in 2019, which means we need to help a whole lot of people make a whole lot of money. So you can see over here, kind of our theme this year is the year of big faith. And I have a lot of scriptures to back that up. Romans 10:17. You can see Joshua 1:8. Over here we have, down here somewhere, we have John, or there's Matthew 7:7-9. We have Mark 11:24. One of my favorites there, it is John 14:14. It says, if you ask for anything in my name, I will do it. You can see Finding Happy. I wrote a book called Finding Happy. I want to have that in 25,000 homes. Jeree would like a personal chef. Trip to Israel with Joel Dunn and John Maxwell. I just found out that's in 2020, so that's going to be another year. But it costs $40,000 to go do that, but I still want to go do it. And you can see there's just different things and different phrases, investing in people, different types of things and reminders, faith, family, finances, fitness, right? So just to keep that alignment and proper perspective. Top 10 money earner, It Works Global. We want to help 100 people earn 6 figures. So, whatever it is for you, that's between you and your family, right? And these things change over time. But if you already know where you're going, see, the reality is that most people spend more time every year planning their 2-week vacation than they do planning their life. And if you don't plan your life, then you're just going to end up wherever the wind takes you. Like it's like we're all in this little sailboat, right? And the same wind's blowing all of us, the winds of disaster, the winds of opportunity, the winds of failure, the winds, it's all the same winds. It's life, right? They all blow on us. And so it's not the blowing of the wind though, but it's the set of the sail. And so one of the things that Jeree and I get to teach you guys is how to set a better sail, right? How to refine your skill set so that you become better and you can use the same time in your business to have better results. And that takes time, and it's a process, right? And we have to go through the process. I love the analogy of, do any of you on here, I can't see most of you, but maybe there's a couple of you on here that play piano, right? Maybe you don't. But when you're first learning to play piano, you don't just show up to your first lesson and start playing both hands and reading the sheet music, right? You don't start there. You start with like one hand, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're like, oh, really? Oh, there's only 7, 7 letters of notes, right? So you learn the A, B, C, D, E, F, G first. And then you get good going A, C, E, C, A, C. And you're like, ooh, I'm getting my fingers to move by themselves. That's another accomplishment, right? You're just getting it to move there. And then you get to where you can do multiple keys at the same time with one hand. And then one day you go to your lesson and they go, now we're going to use another hand with the other hand. You're like, whoa, how are we going to do that? But before you know it, you're playing with 2 hands, right? And they're like, okay, we're going to teach you how to read music, and you're going to read this music and play where you read the music. And next thing you know, maybe it took you 3 months, 6 months, a year. Now you're reading music and you're playing. They're going to say, okay, now you're going to have an audience, and we want you to interact with the audience while you read the music and while you play with both hands. And you're just like, whoa. And in the beginning, you thought, there's no way I ever could have done all that. Played with two hands and looked at the audience and looked at the sheet music and flipped the page without missing a beat, right? But we all know that that's possible because people do it. Same thing with It Works, guys. You guys have figured out the first step, right? The first step. Sign 4 loyal customers up, which unlocked your $100 shopping spree. Some of you probably got a $150 shopping spree. And you got, and you guys on here have become a 400 GV. So when you start learning what's called charting, you're going to look at your chart and you're going to see there's lots of different spots that, or people have 400 GV. And see, what's great is now that you've figured it out how to become a 400 GV team, now you can begin to teach other people to do what you've been doing so that they can have what you currently have, right? So this is great. So here's the 4-step process of learning. We have what's called learn knowledge. Learn knowledge is when you join and you say, what kind of products do we have? And you learned about them. And you said, what kind of opportunity is this? And you're learning about the opportunity. You're in the learn knowledge. And you're always in the learn knowledge, right? Then the activity knowledge. You actually picked up the phone and talked to people, or you did a rap party, or you put raps on people, or you let people try samples, or you did whatever you had to do on Zooms like this, or on the phone, or text messages, host to post. And now you have customers joining. And so that's the activity knowledge. And then what's next is you have the modeling knowledge, right? And all this is what's great about this business. You're learning from other people. You have, we say it's okay to be a copycat if you copy the right cat. So some of you on here might be like, tonight at 9 p.m. we're gonna have a Zoom with Melody McFarlane. And some of you are gonna love her and you're gonna relate to her and you're gonna build your business more like her. Some of you are gonna wanna do more on social media, so you're gonna build a business more like some other people that do on social media, right? And it doesn't matter, it's just you want to have people that you follow and people that you're watching. You're like, if you want to know how you make good posts, you go find successful people and look at their posts. And you just copy paste and you change it up so it fits you more, because you don't want to just do the exact copy paste. So change it up so it fits you and your personality and what you're looking to do, but use it as a template, right? So you want to be modeling after someone else, okay? And then the last step is when you're doing that, you're going to be teaching. And so you guys are already positioned now when people start to join your team that you can teach them what you know so far. You can teach them to plug into, and listen and introduce them to Mark on the Sunday night Facebook Live that he does every Sunday night. Or here in a few minutes at 8 o'clock, actually, Pam Souter every single Monday does a Show Me the Money call with different people. You'll be able to tune into that. On Thursdays, we have a team Zoom that you guys can all plug into, and you can plug your new people into that. When you're going into the back office and you're reading through the document library and you're finding things that are exciting to you, you can share those with your team, right? So it's just study, practice, teach. Study, practice, teach. You've got the learn knowledge, the activity knowledge, the modeling knowledge, and the teaching knowledge. And you're constantly learning, and you're constantly applying, and you're constantly modeling, and you're constantly teaching. And that's how you get better and better and better. See, there's all these people that have they've dedicated their lives. Like this guy's a self-made billionaire, right? Started like you and I, just had regular jobs, and he went out and became a self-made billionaire. I got to meet him in person. He's passed away now, but just a great guy. This is an awesome book, Fortune, Family, and Faith. Great book. Here's a guy that took 20 years, and he interviewed all the wealthiest people in the world at the time to see what they all had in common. This is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is a book of a guy who's had massive success in network marketing industry, and he wrote a book called Go Pro, 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional, right? And then we have this classic, which is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And this just teaches you how to be more likable and communicate better with people. And this is one we're going to be studying soon as a team. It's called High Performance Habits, how extraordinary people became that way. And this guy's coached and taught just thousands of people to massive success. So the one thing I'll mention right now is every Tuesday and Thursday morning, there's a group of us, and we do Zooms just like this. They're at 7:30 Central in the morning to 8:15. They're all recorded. And right now we're going through a series with Jim Rohn, and abundance is the topic, the module that we're on right now. And Tony Robbins actually introduced it. So we're talking about abundance and how we can have abundance in our life. So anyway, if you want to be part of that group and you're not yet, just go on to Facebook and just type in It Works Personal Development. Ask to be added to that page. I'll add you, and then you can jump onto the Zooms live, or you can always catch the replay. Sometimes the internet service isn't as good, so the replay is in and out like this has probably been. I've seen unstable internet connection come up a couple times. So we have that. But what I want to do right now, guys, is first of all, I want you to know that you're in a great place and you're in a safe place to grow, right? And where you're going to be challenged and where literally anything is possible. I mean, you know, Jerry and I, coming from our background to It Works, and ended up 2.3 million, I think now in 6.5 years in commissions. That's the money deposit into our bank account from It Works Global. And we're just one of many, many stories inside the company. Tonight, you'll hear a bunch more at 9 Central with Melody, and Susan and Michael Wade will be on there, and Brooke and Jake Tomatich, and Stacy and Brent Hallwidger, and Bubba and Tina Hatcliffe. So a lot of them are like in our chain of command, or in our upline, I guess you could say. Just wonderful people. So you guys will love them. But I want to take a few minutes here. I'm going to pull this chat up so I can see what you guys have been saying. Got a few messages here. And April, you're welcome. Said thank you for your service. Jenny, I'll give you the recording. You can share this for sure. Newest double in a couple months. That's what I'm talking about, April. See, April's claiming double diamond. And so, April, make sure you print off that double diamond chart so you know what that looks like. And so you know what it's going to take. Brittany, husband served in the Army for 10 years. Both got out. Both had trouble with drugs and jail and been clean for 3 years now. It's an awesome story. You should check out Courtney Sharp, Brittany. She's got an amazing story. She's a presidential diamond now. And she, when she found It Works, she was just recovering from addiction. And massive, just great story. There's so many stories like that. My background is before the Army, I wanted to be a rock and roll star. So I sang in rock bands all through the 90s, and put a CD out, in the late 90s, and did some touring and stuff like that. But that led me down, as you can imagine, a lot of rock and roll singers that are dead now, right, from the 90s. And it led me down a path of just alcohol abuse, drug abuse. I ended up when I met Jerry, I had 6 warrants for my arrest. We knew each other a week, and they came into a building we were both at and took me away, right? And she came and bailed me out. That's when I knew she really loved me. I was like, oh my gosh, she bailed me out. She must really, really love me. So she stuck with me through fighting my way through all that, paying all those fines. And it was stupid things like unpaid traffic tickets and driving on suspended licenses. They took my license away, and I just didn't care. I drove anyway, right? So just bad decisions and bad mistakes led me there. And but life is so much different now. And now we have 3 kids and 4 cats and 2 dogs and 2 horses, and who knows what we'll have. We'll probably have a whole farm here soon. But anyway, okay, let's see. So Brittany, the sky is the limit. Anything is possible. Jennifer's family thinks her crazy. Join the club, Jennifer. She says, my family thinks can you imagine? My family just thought I was nuts. Dree's parents, they're like, you're going to resign your commission as an officer? Have you lost your mind? They're like, what if the company goes away? What if stuff quits? I'm like, I just know I'm supposed to do it. We had clarity on that. So the route we were supposed to go, and it's paid off 1,000%. Jenny says, I'm going to bring my husband home, gone for weeks at a time. When he comes home, it's usually for a day or 2. Came home yesterday, grabbed a suitcase I had packed and left, never even turned his truck off. Wow, drive away watching our 2-year-old cry and scream in the rearview mirror. Oh, man. See, Jenny, that's something you can get a hold of that will help you make it through anything life throws at you. So when I was talking about earlier, the blowing of the wind, you have your goals, you have your things you're committed to, your resolve, your plan, and you stay focused on that like a heat-seeking missile, regardless of what's happening on the left, happening on the right, or who's saying this or saying that. It doesn't even matter. Just stay focused, and you will have your husband home very, very quickly. Brittany, yes, girls, look at us go. Excited for that book. Yeah, High Performance Habits. Awesome book. Double getting my son back, me home full time. Amber says, thank you. Okay, Brittany loves Courtney. Awesome. Yes. April, family thinks you're crazy too. You got to be a little crazy. And that's why we have to sort. This is the sorting business. You got to sort through and find the crazy ones to join. Then you got to find the really crazy ones to stay, right? And what I mean by crazy is, I mean, not the ones that are willing to swim upstream when everybody's going to swim downstream, the ones that are willing to do income producing activities. You know, most people get off work and do what I call tension relieving. Prime time is 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Most of the world veges out on the couch. Well, you know, a lot of the most successful people in the world, that's when they build businesses, is between 7 and 11 at night. That's when they write books, is between 7 and 11 at night. That's when they do the things that no one else will do, so they can have the things that no one else will have. And that's the same formula that's going to get you and I there, is we have to do what others aren't willing to do so that we can have what others won't have. That's the formula. And it doesn't mean it's going to always be good, right? Failure is the fertilizer of success. So, and that's a reason why a lot of people don't succeed. They're not willing to go through the failure, which is the fertilizer. What do we know about fertilizer? It's necessary, but it's stinky, right? Do you imagine being the one that has to go spread the fertilizer on the crops? You're like, ugh. No one wants to do that part. But how successful are the crops going to be with no fertilizer? You can't just go throw some crops out there and not have fertilizer, right? You got to do all of it. You got to be out there in the storm and in the rain and doing the work and the plowing and the planting and the trust and hoping the sun comes out and the right amount of rain comes and just believing for all that. See, we have the easy part. We plant the seeds and God grows the trees. You plant the seeds, plant, and then God decides who's going to join, who's going to tell you you're crazy, who's going to block you on Facebook, right? So all the above is going to happen. So, okay, I've done the career working mom, ready to spend some time. My children have freedom instead of 9. Awesome. Danielle was on our Zoom the other night. Did an awesome job. Struggle getting up at 5 a.m. and up until 11. I have to get up at 5 because my Rugrats get up at 6. Oh, I know, Jennifer. It's tough. When I was in the Army, see, my wife didn't realize I needed, like, she thought I should stay up until she went to bed at night. Only when I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning, sometimes she would sleep till 7 or 8. I'm getting up at 4:30, and then I'm like a zombie all day, But I did it. I figured it out, and I just did it. And that's why we have some good stuff like keto energy, right? And the greens and all these awesome products that are so helpful. Got my office made, and since then I've stayed up till at least 12 since I did. Nice. Uplines are leaders and not just bosses. Yeah, nobody wants a boss. I don't want a boss. Y'all don't need a boss. Yeah, enough bosses, right? Nobody needs a boss. All right, so let me just take a few minutes and open this up. Answer any questions that any of you have. It could be personal questions. It could be business questions, how to build a business. It could be product questions. I just want to take a few minutes while we kind of are in this more intimate setting, and you guys can come on here if you want to show your face, or you can just type a question in the box right here. I would love to. And there's no stupid question, right? I know you guys are pretty new, and you're probably like me where you're thinking, oh, I want to ask this, but I don't want to know if it's a stupid question. Just ask it anyway, because someone else is probably thinking it if you are. So who has the first question? Love working my own time. All right, we'll go like 30 seconds of awkward silence. We'll just stare at each other. And then we'll bring Rachel Miller on here. DTs. I have trouble getting people to sign as DTs. They get to the point of signing and back out every time. Okay. Let me talk about that, April. So where's April at? I'm going to bring you on here, April. We're going to have a conversation about this. April, can you hear me okay? I'm clicking the unmute button. You might have to click unmute though too, April. April Dunwoody.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
All right.
So what made you join?
I decided to stay at home with my son. My husband and I decided. I worked at Walmart for 7 years, and it just kind of became a place that was more stress for me and a little too much stress. So we decided that me staying home was a better option. And I had been following Dale and Annie Doak for a while on Facebook and kind of watching what she was doing with the business. And we had chatted a few times. And so we just kind of figured that this was something that was worth trying and meant that I could be at home and not miss my kids' events and be able to be more involved in their lives rather than so much work taking away from me missing sports and things like that.
That's awesome. So do you believe that there's at least 100,000 more women in the world just like you that are working right now and they wish they could stay home with their kids and wish they could not have to miss events?
Oh, absolutely.
So part of what you do then is you go and find those exact same women that are in the same position that you were, that have the same exact problem, and you're going to be able to come in and offer them a solution. Now, when you offer them that solution, it doesn't mean they're all going to take it, right?
Right.
Always remember when someone says no to the opportunity, they're not saying no to you personally. They're saying no to the business. They're saying the business isn't for them. And even when they say no, that just means not right now. In my mind, when I talk to someone about this, like I know you're going to join me eventually. It's just either they're going to stay on my list. They're either going to join me over time or they die or they block me. And that's pretty much one of three is going to happen. They're going to join, they're going to die, or they're going to block me. Does that make sense?
Right. And yeah, that does. Because like I said, I mean, I followed Annie and watched her posts with, all the It Work stuff for quite a while before we really started talking about me joining.
Right. Right. Well, and I bet you if we went through every single person, there's probably a couple that just heard about it like on a Monday and joined on a Tuesday. And then there's probably a couple that were watching for years, right?
Yeah.
Maybe had a friend reach out to them 10 plus times, maybe 20 plus times. And then other people were customers first. And after they decided that they loved the products, they decided to join after that. So you're going to have people that join right away. You're going to have people that join after years. And you're going to have people that never join that you thought would and think you're crazy, right? You're going to have everything in between. What I like to say is people are like apples. You've got red apples, green apples, and rotten apples. So red apples are ripe and they're ready. Those are the ones you pick off the tree and you can start eating it right there. They taste great. Green apples need time, right? Because they're not red yet. So a lot of people in this business, I know someone just mentioned it took them a year to join. So a lot of people, they're not ready yet. They need to watch for a while. They need to marinate. They need to see their friend be successful in this or whatever it takes. And then you have rotten apples. And rotten apples, if you run across a rotten apple, it's not like it's ever going to turn red and it's never going to turn green. So you just have to call it what it is, which is a rotten apple. And you'll have a few of those too in the business. They'll come along and they'll just tell you everything they can think of to make you feel like you're stupid for joining this company. But you just have to be able to discipline your disappointment. You have to build a little higher, what I call build your emotional IQ to the level where it doesn't upset you that much. It doesn't hurt that bad if someone's just not nice to you. So what the other thing I want to get to is when you were saying earlier that a lot of people get to like the end and they decide not to sign up. Can you kind of share a couple examples of that? Like you have people who are excited and they're ready to join and then they just quit responding or they change their mind, or what would you say? Oh, you muted again.
There we go. Rappers. Yeah, a lot of the times how it happens is I know like close to Christmas, I had a friend who shared a host post, and I had, 30 probably women who responded and were very interested in joining. And we talked for a few days, and some of them, it was like we got right up to the point of me signing them up, and then they just went cold. Nothing, no response back from them. They would read my messages, and they're still, matter of fact, I messaged a few of them today to try to get them to take the leap for the $49. And it's like they read the messages, but I don't get a response. And they were excited. They were ready, they were ready to join as far as sending me their information or taking the link to go sign up through me, and then just nothing.
So what do you think happened?
I would say they got scared. Maybe they kind of had a second thought of, well, maybe this won't work, or, what if I don't make any money from it? Kind of like I think some of us have done, because I was kind of that way at first. When Annie first approached me about it, I told her no a few times before I finally was like, you know what, it's worth a try.
Yep.
What do I have to lose?
So I got a homework assignment for you. You like homework?
Sure.
All right,
Hey,
so
if it works, it works.
I want you to go on YouTube, and you're going to find this YouTube video, and all you need to type in is say Jim Rohn sowing and reaping. Okay? Type in Jim Rohn sowing and reaping. It's about 10 minutes long. Listen to that, and then I want you to private message me and tell me what you learned that happened to those people. I heard the dog and said you muted yourself again. But so, and all of you, it will help you a lot to listen to this, because it will give you the realistic expectation of what you're looking at and how this business works, and that it's a process. Again, if you were, let's say you were a gym owner and you were looking for someone to become the next, go to the Arnold Classic and be a champion weightlifter, right? You probably have a lot of people who would want to sign up for that class or sign up for that competition. You'd have a lot of people who wanted to come to your gym and had lots of goals. Let's say you owned a gym and you had every single person come in and say, what are your goals this year? They would all give you goals. They would say, I want to bench press this much weight. I want to lose, I want to lose this much weight. I want to chisel myself to where I look like this person and all these things. But at the end of the year, when you look back at the numbers, you would see, man, some people joined and never even showed up once. Some people told me they were going to join and they never even came and never even paid the first installment. Some came for 6 months and quit. Some came for a year and left. And then a few stuck it out and changed their bodies and changed their life, and they went on to become professional weightlifters. And it's all the same. It's all like this funnel. If you look at any college, right? You start with a whole lot of freshmen and you end up with a lot less graduating seniors, right? You go to real estate school, you have a lot of people graduate real estate school, and you have a lot less that sell one home, a lot less that sell 10 homes, and you probably have a little tiny number that's ever sell 100 homes or more. It's just the way that it is. It's the same with this business. And what I'm here to tell you today is that the difference between if you're a little bit successful or not successful at all or massively successful is that, number one, you're teachable. Number two, you're willing to work. And number three, you have burning desire. If you have those three things, then you can be massively successful. If Arnold Schwartz, however you say his last name, right, came to my house and he said, Chad, come live with me for a year. I'm going to work out with you every day. I'm going to tell you what to eat. I'm going to show you the workout. We're going to do everything together, hand in hand. Do you guys have any doubt that within like 2 or 3 years, I would be with some bubbling muscles all over my body? Right? Why? Because I would have the motivation and I would have the support and I would have the help and I would have that. That's why you have to stay engaged in this culture. That's why you got to hang around excited it works people. That's why you got to get around groups in your town of entrepreneurs and people who are stretching their minds and wanting to grow and walking away from the 95% that are willing to drift and willing to settle and willing for mediocrity, and see what the 5% are watching and see what the 5% are doing and see what time the 5% are waking up in the morning and going to bed at night and what they're doing with their free time, right? That's how we make the transition. That's how we change. It's by reading the books that most of the world is not reading, right? And understanding what's in these books and making it part of our philosophy. And Kaya, your daughter is so cute. Look at that little girl. Hey. Man, I love little kids. All right, Dree don't want to have any more. So I'm just, I got pictures of when ours were little, and, I get to see other little people's babies. It's awesome. So Think and Grow Rich, awesome book. Here's what all these books say. I've got one I wrote recently with a bunch of guys. It's called Resilience, Turning Your Setback into a Comeback. Man, you should read that book. That book, it's insane. All the different guys and what they were able to come back from, and the different people in that book. It's nuts. So what it teaches me and what it should teach you is anything is possible. I mean, Helen Keller was successful, and she was blind and deaf. I know a guy, Nick Vujicic. You may have heard of him, maybe not. No arms, no legs. Man, he's got kids, he's married, and now he's successful. He's a world speaker. If a guy I saw one time this guy walk out on a stage and he walked around and he gave a speech and he talked. It was amazing. At the end, he said, and by the way, guys, I've been blind for the last 15 years. I'm like, what? Nobody saw that coming. Some dude walking out there blind and did all this great, and he was walking up and down the stage. I'm like, how's he know he's not going to fall off? Because he's like giving this great dynamic speech and he's counting how many steps to the left, counting to the right. He's doing the piano thing where he's playing both hands. and watching and doing that. And, you know, any profession, whether it's professional sports or real estate or network marketing or whatever, it takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert at your craft, right? To really become an expert. So you got to understand it's a process, and you got to give yourself time to learn and time to grow and time to go through the mountaintops and the valleys and all the in-betweens, right? And it's just part of the fun, and it's part of the journey of this whole deal. So I always say enjoy the journey, enjoy the good times, enjoy the bad times, you know, become like the lighthouse. That's why I kind of picture we are. We get to become a lighthouse with It Works, where we're able to look out there across the oceans, and we're able to identify people that have problems, and we have real solutions for their problem. We can help people become healthy with our products. We can help people get out of debt with our compensation plan. We can help families reconcile. We can help moms be home with their babies and not have to be in daycare. We can help husbands not have to work overtime anymore and come home and retire early and do their hobby that maybe they've been dreaming about too. We can do all these things. It's all possible if It Works. So I just want you guys to put your seatbelts on, plug in, you know, strap in. This is like a rocket ship, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to read through these questions one more time, and if there's no more questions, we'll end this. I did record it, so hopefully some of this helps. But yeah, Brittany knows the answer. She's probably already listening to that Jim Rohn. So Jim Rohn, YouTube, Sowing and Reaping. It's the one that's like 10 minutes and 45 seconds or something. Listen to that. That will change your life. You'll understand these things I'm talking about. Jenny's mind is getting sharper, remembering people and what they order or want to order from weeks and months ago. This is awesome. And I love Rachel on here, man. You guys should see, you guys all got to get to know Rachel because Rachel a few years ago, she did this little video, went viral. She was so excited from an announcement at conference that year that I think she I don't know if she was just peeing her pants. She was so excited, or she was having partial heart attack, peeing, crying, snot bubbles, like fluids just pouring out from everywhere. I was just like, whoa, this girl's crazy. She did a little video, and she's like, I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. And then she went on, and she had a 2018 that she wasn't even dreaming of in 2016, right? A 2018 she wasn't dreaming of yet in 2016. Now she's talking crazy goals that she would have never even thought about 2 years ago. But because she's grown and she's plugged in, she's like snuck on it. She wasn't even invited onto the Zoom. She just snuck on here. Look, and then she's brave enough to show that it's her. She didn't even delete her name or anything. She's like, I'm going to get on this Zoom with the newbies just because I can, because I'm Rachel. But I love that. And that's the kind of people that are really, really successful. So congratulations, Rachel, on all your success. Happy birthday the other day. I see you survived your 22, right? Survived her 22nd birthday, and just got a sweet little baby that she's taking good care of and building a great life for her and her child. So that's what this whole business is about, guys. Go out there, figure out what it is that you want. Promise you can do it here. And for today, that's it. So make sure at 9 Central, which is in here in 5 minutes, if you want to get on Pam Souter's I don't know if she's going to do a Facebook Live tonight or Zoom or whatever. You can probably get on her page, though, Pam Souter on Facebook, and it'll say where to go. Plug into that. And then at 9 p.m., we're going to do another Zoom, and you're going to get to hear from Mama Bear. We call her Mama Bear. Melody and Blair McFarland. They're the very first ambassadors ever in the history of It Works. They've been with the company for 13 years. First ambassadors. Their first ambassador was Tina Hatcliffe. Tina Hatcliffe will also be on that Zoom. And then Jerry and I were Tina Hatcliffe's first ambassador. So that's kind of how this whole dynamic in the history of It Works has worked to get down, to where when we joined. And we don't have any ambassadors yet. So it could be Rachel. It could be one of you guys on. It could be Jenny. It could be April. It could be Mary. It could be Jennifer. It could be any of you ladies, Kaya. Be any ladies on here right now. All you got to do is go to work. So let's have an awesome 2019. Congratulations on 400 Club. Make sure you get with your direct upline. They should be sending you a really awesome 400 Club bracelet. I sent a bunch out in the mail already. I have a cat. He's like addicted to them. So he strings them all over the house. We got 2,000 of them, right? And every day I wake up and he's snuck into my closet, taking more 400 bracelets, and he hides them all over the house. So next time when you guys come to my house, you'll probably find them in all these cracks and corners and stuff, and just take them if you find them. Just take them home, because you're going to need them for your 400 people. right? So get your bracelet, wear it, and then set a goal to get that bracelet on 5 people on your team, and then 10 people on your team, and then 100 people. We've had over 30,000 people join our organization in 6.5 years as distributors, over 200,000 that have joined as customers. So the only difference between Jerry and I and you is time and activity. Someone told me that years ago, and I was like, what? It's the only difference between them and me. They were really successful then. This is in 2001. That person had like 10,000 a month and had like 9,000 people on their team, and I had 2. He said, Chad, the only difference between me and you is time and activity. So now I get to say it to you. The only difference between me and you, or Rachel and you, is time and activity. Put in the time, put in the activity, plant the seeds. God will grow the trees. And then your success is inevitable and you'll be unstoppable. So have that strong why, never quit, enjoy the journey. And hey, if I can help you in any way, Chad Caneller on Facebook. You can text me anytime at 910-922-4116. Hope you're taking notes or you wouldn't got that. But you can find me on Facebook, and I love to do 3-way calls. So if you have interested people, April, if you get that person to that step and they're kind of like, I'm just not sure, just say, let me get you on the phone with my friend Chad. And we'll have a little conversation and we'll see if we can help them out. Okay, we're in the business of helping people. That's what we do. That's what we're going to keep doing. 2019 is going to be the best year ever in history. April's going ambassador in 2020. I love that. And I'll see y'all later. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night. See you on the Melody Call.